Hello, this is Telecom TV. I'm Martin Warwick, reporting in from 3GSM in Barcelona, and I'm talking with Julia Di Mambro, who is the Managing Director of CherrySauce. And CherrySauce is a content provider, a provider of adult content, I believe. Julia, tell us about it. What is CherrySauce?
It's a company that specialises in delivering erotic and adult entertainment via mobile, and specifically mobile.
Is that pornography?
No, it's different from pornography. I think pornography has very bad connotations and has a legacy that has been left from the internet, which can affect the perception of what it is that we do. We're a business that the content happens to be erotic or adult. We're not a porn company.
But it's basically a sex clip.
It's a proven demand, basically, proven for many, many years in many different medias, and what we're doing is delivering to that demand, but how we're trying to approach it is actually as a very responsible and serious business, and I believe that mobile is the first medium to actually bring that opportunity to adult entertainment.
I understand there's demand out there, there always has been. Certainly agree with you. Do you deal via operators, or do you go direct to consumers and customers?
We actually do both. We launched the company back in 2003 as a direct-to-consumer portal, and that was basically because at that point operators really didn't want anything to do with erotic or adult content at all. So that was sort of the channels that were open to us at the time. However, as the industry has developed and age verification and access controls have come into play, the operators have obviously seen that there is a commercial opportunity there. So you tend to find that they're working quite closely with companies like CherrySauce to be able to define how to limit access or allow access depending on your age.
Obviously, operators want to have content out there that brings them a revenue stream. Do you think there's a bit of hypocrisy at work here as far as the operators are concerned? They make money from erotic content, adult content, and yet they don't seem to publicise it very much, and they prefer not to talk about it. It's still very much hole in the corner sort of thing, is it not? Well,
you tend to find that the operators more or less offer erotic content as opposed to adult content. So you're talking sort of babes in bikinis, maybe going to topless, which, let's face it, if you're from the UK, the Sun newspaper pretty much sort of does a similar thing, and we've been doing that for years. But I don't think it's hypocritical as such. It's a very, very interesting business model, because you're actually talking very much about the psychology of, in my particular case, male consumers. It's not just about the smut or the filth. It's what it is that they're actually searching for, what it is that sort of turns them on. How do you deliver that? How do you give them value for money? Because we noticed specifically for the first couple of years where mobile erotica was becoming a business, that a lot of it was just translating content from other medias and compressing it onto the mobile phone. And in our opinion, that gave a very poor end-user experience. It was pixelated images, they were stretched, it just didn't look good. So I believe it's a deeper model than that.
I see. Do operators resent you, or do they welcome what you do? And do they treat you as a sort of second-class content provider? Are you down there, down market?
You tend to find now that where the business model has advanced quite dramatically over the last couple of years in terms of mobile entertainment, the operators tend to have what they call preferred partners, who will then go out and sort of source the content for them. So for us specifically, in terms of working with operators, we'll either work with people who are building the platforms for the operators, or people who are aggregating the content on their behalf. And no, I don't think they treat you as a second-class citizen, so to speak. They see that there is a commercial potential there, and obviously they understand that our business focus is erotic and adult entertainment, whereas that might not be their business focus. So I think what you have seen, especially over sort of the last 2 years, is both the adult industry and the operator industries coming together to be able to ensure that people who are allowed to access the content can access the content, and people who can't don't.
Well, you moved me exactly where I wanted to be, because that's my next question to you. What about parental control? What about how does this operate? How do you ensure that the right content gets to the right person, the right consumer, and how do you ensure that it doesn't get to those that shouldn't be seeing it?
Exactly. There's an interesting point there, because I think up until we had access controls, and it's been much more predominant and much more of a topic on mobile than any other media, the whole conversation was how you actually stopped people accessing content. What access control has brought about is a very, very controlled way where we can now deliver to the proven demand that we know exists. So that's been a huge step forward. It varies depending on obviously which territory you're in and which operator that you're working in. So there are some operators where they have built their own system that does cross-checking in the background to ensure to see if the person has used a credit card before and all of this kind of stuff. And obviously the level varies as well. So in certain territories you can actually show more up to the pin, so to speak, than you can in other territories. So there's lots of different levels there, but I think the great thing that's happening is that the systems that are being built, the platforms that are being built are very robust. They're very geared towards ensuring or minimizing any minors accessing adult content. And I think you'll find that in mobile, it's sort of the first time we've really seen that happen with any sort of global force. You know, there was sort of rumblings on the internet, but I don't think they're quite worked out how to do it, because the difference in mobile is that it is the operators that own the end consumers or own the channels to the end consumers. Now with the internet we didn't have that, and it was much more of a free-for-all. So what you're seeing is sort of much more responsible companies or adult entertainment companies coming together and making sure that this happens, because it's in our interests as well, basically.
Where do you source the content?
That's another interesting question, actually, because that has changed over the last couple of years. We started off aggregating from large or internet adult companies or traditional adult production companies. But what we've seen, and it boils back to that point that I said earlier, that the quality, I feel, was sort of compromised, because people often ask me, it's like, how are you going to make it compelling in a screen that's that size, and you know, it's lower resolution, it's slow to download, all of that. But what we're seeing emerge now are production companies that are actually shooting specifically for mobile. Now that's great in two ways, and the first way being obviously that they are aware that we need sort of soft erotic content when working with the operator channels, but also in terms of filming for a screen that size, that is taken into consideration. Because something that we've seen is, for example, where we've tried to use soft content before and 3G coming on board, you know, the people were saying like, okay, it's 3G, now we can do like, you know, 2-minute clips, and we were going, okay, but what can you show? Well, only bikini. So sort of a girl going like that in a bikini is only going to be interesting for so long. But where these guys are shooting for that environment, they're sort of really thinking about, okay, these are the restrictions. How can we still make this thing arousing or erotic and offer value for money within that environment?
Okay. Julia Demambro, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.